Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I want to start by saying Happy New Year and hope you all had a wonderful 2022 and hopefully 23 is an even better year. We'll start off the new year here with a couple different things. First of all, we're going to do a tour of my new toolbox back here. I know it's been a while since I did an updated toolbox tour video. Got a new box and a lot of the same tools, but a few new ones as well. Then after we get done with that, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of another project we got coming up. I know some of you may know I used to have a welding truck set up on a 81 Chevy 1-ton pickup. It laid down on me this summer. I've still got it. I put a different bed on it, make a feed pickup out of it for out around the farm. But I bought a 04 Ford F350. It's sitting right over here. We'll show you it here in a minute. We're gonna go through. I had it set up once, didn't really like the way it was. I think I'm gonna change some things on it. We'll get started on that here in a few days. But anyway, let's get started. For starters, I'll go ahead and just get the preview out of the way. That's gonna be the new work truck. 2004 F350 6.0 diesel. I know everybody hates the 6.0. This one's been nothing but good to me. I love it. 1-ton cabin chassis. Got a pretty heavy built flatbed on the back. We're gonna change a few things. I still got my torches up there. I took everything else off last night. I'm gonna go out the farm here in a little bit. Had to have the torches to cut up some pipe and stuff to do what I'm gonna do. So anyway, that's the pickup. Excuse the mess inside right now. Like I said, I cleaned out the toolboxes and everything that was on here last night. And everything just kind of got thrown in the seat. But it's just your basic work truck. Manual locks and windows, no cruise control. Pretty well no options at all, but that's what I wanted when I was looking for one. So anyway, we'll start on that project here. I'll probably start on it today, but we'll have a video up on it here before long. So anyway, now to what we really came for. Oh, here's another project. I just bought the titanium unlimited 140 the other day. I've got it sitting on this old cart. We're gonna make a welding cart out of that. We'll have videos on that project, I'm sure too. But anyway, here's the new box. Snap-on KCP 1422, I believe. Anyway, up on top here for starters, it's got the worktop with power on both sides. So I've got my computer here. I don't use it much, but handy for looking at parts and stuff. Over here, I've just got a few things. And of course, got to have the tub of towels. Best thing in the world for cleaning your tools. And got my map gas torch up there. There's some brake cleaner. I've been painting some tractor wheels, so got some paint up there right now. But anyway, all right, let's start with drawer number one. Everybody's favorite drawer. Over on this side, nothing much has really changed here since the last video, except they're in a different box. But we got all the chrome sockets in here, Craftsman. Got all my standards and 1/2-inch drive, deep and shallow, 3/8 drive, and 1/4-inch drive. A few spark plug sockets here. Duralast hex sockets, a couple big 3/4-inch drive sockets I use for axle nuts and stuff. Over here, I think these are new since the last time. The Icon long reach standard hex. This side of the drawer doesn't get used much here at work. I use more on my own stuff over here. Most everything we work on anymore, it's new enough, it's all metric, but I do bring my tractors over once in a while and work on them. So got Torx bits all the way from, I believe, a T10, yeah, up to a 55 maybe, 60. And then a set of E-Torx. Down here in these little boxes, I've got some 1/2-inch and 1/4 or 3/8 and 1/2-inch extensions. Oh, that's all 3/8 and 1/4-inch extensions. Kid that works here didn't put that in the right box. And that's 1/2-inch. And then I've got my Milwaukee impact driver. Use the hell out of that thing. Love it. I'm a big fan of Milwaukee power tools. I've got my little DeWalt 3/8 impact, my old faithful Ingersoll 1/2 inch. That gun's been around forever and it just keeps on trucking. And I've got the Quinn digital 1/2 inch torque wrench from Harbor Freight. And then I've got a couple of these little snap-on sockets, one of them with the wobble, one of them doesn't have, or extensions I mean, not sockets. Blah. Hadn't had enough coffee in me yet this morning. And supposed to be getting a full set of these. This is a Blue Point. It's a flip socket, got 22 millimeter on one side, 22.5 on the other. The 19, 19.5, and the 21 and 21.5 are on order. Hopefully they get here soon. We've been having some trouble getting stuff through the Snap-on truck. He's having a hell of a time getting stuff ordered and getting it in. I'm sure everybody across the country is having that problem. But these are real handy I use them for swollen up lug nuts. On the 21.5 be real nice, because everybody that works in any kind of tire industry or where you have to take wheels off all the time, you know how much of a pain in the ass them Ford lug nuts can be. Up here in the back, I've got a couple special axle nut sockets and some more big. I think there's a 34, 35, and 36 back here. And then I've got my metric 1/2 inch drive sockets. I need to get a 21. I broke both of them and haven't replaced them yet. They're all the chrome sockets again on this side are Craftsman. And here I've got the Snap-on 1/2 inch drive deep impact socket set. Goes from the set I bought went from 10 to 19, and then I bought I went from 10 to 21. Yeah, 10 to 21, and then I bought the 22 and the 24 to go with it. And down here I've got the shallow versions of them from 10 all the way up to 21. Here's the 3/8 drive Snap-on semi-deep impact swivels. I think they go from like 10 to 19, I believe. 18, 10 to 18, but they do skip a couple sizes. And that's all new, pretty new. And in front of them, I've got the Sonex 3/8 drive impact socket set. I've got the deep swivel and the shallows all the way from 7 millimeter up to 21. Here I've got some 1/4 inch drive Craftsman chrome sockets. And then here's a set I bought at AutoZone. Those are all 10 millimeter, different variations, 1/4 and 3/8 drive. And I've got my crow's feet here from, I believe, 10 to 19. They're just a cheap brand I bought up here at the parts store. Needed a 16 one day and just bought the whole set. Over here I've got the metric Icon long reach hacks with the ball end on them. I can get that to focus or not. Got the ball end on it. And down here, these are handy. They're I don't know what brand they are now. Anyway, they're low profile filter wrench sockets, canister type oil filters. I've got a longer 3/8 extension here that wouldn't fit in the box, and I've got my big long 3/8 extension right over here. Pretty well all the sockets on this side, they're on the Toolbox widgets. If you guys haven't checked them out, you need to. They're wonderful. I need to get some more for over here. Anyway, that pretty well wraps up first drawer. Next drawer down, mostly wrenches. Again, on this side, we've got standard. It goes all the way from 5/16 up to 1.125. And they're just the plain old, Craftsman. The design's been around forever. I've had them for about 6 years now, ever since I started working here at the shop, and they've been good to me. Back there in the back, I've got an 1 5/16 I bought for a special job I needed at one time. Down here, I've got the Craftsman line wrenches, standard, and some line disconnect tools. This thing's kind of neat. Wife got this for me for one time here a while back. It's just your usual crescent wrench, but it ratchets. You unlock it, and then you can, I don't have a nut to show you on, but anyway, it's kind of neat. It's one of them things you don't use it very often, but I have used it a few times. And then a couple more crescents in different sizes, a couple of pipe wrenches. She got me these at the same time. They're a Crescent brand, and they've got, you can see it here in the end, that little tab right there that makes it where you can use them kind of like an open-end ratchet wrench. They're pretty handy. I'd like to have a set in metric. I'd use them a lot more, but I do use those sometimes. And a brake bleeder wrench here, 5/16 and 3/8. Pair of safety glasses. And over on this side's our metric wrenches. Start out down here with Craftsman line wrenches, just like the other set. And then Craftsman, just the usual, you know, just like the others. And those go from 8 up to 24. And then I bought the Icon flex head ratchet wrenches from 10 to 19. And you know, Harbor Freight's really came a long ways in their tool quality. I can remember several years ago, you couldn't pay me to go in there and buy anything. They were just junk. But this new Icon line, I really like them. And some of their other tools are getting better. I've got the Snap-on short wrenches from 10 up to 19. They're in this rail. I just bought these the other day. Haven't even got a chance to use them yet. Snap-on gasket scrapers. They're pretty nice. Let's move down to drawer number 3. In this drawer's a little bit of everything. I got all my pliers back here in the back. A couple just cheap long nose, needle nose from Walmart. A full set of Snap-on snap ring pliers. The Knipex Cobras, 2 different sizes. Those and the little shorter ones. Guys, if you haven't got a pair of these, you need a pair. I use them every day. I use this pair more than anything. I've even got a couple more pair of these I keep in the truck all the time. I love them. Got the twin grips. I'm sure you guys have seen them on other videos and everything. They got the grip in the end of them. They're handy. If you guys work in the tire industry like I do, those are the handiest in the world for pulling nails and screws out of tires. Excuse me. I've got a couple pair of Blue Point wire strippers. I've got the strippers down here and crimper up there. The other one, this pair I use all the time. Those I use if I'm in a tight place for crimping because the crimpers are out here on the end. But these have got the strippers out here and crimpers down on this end. And there's a pair of cheap cable cutters. I think I bought those at the farm store for one of them $4.99 tool racks. Old pair of dikes. Heater's gonna kick on and make it a little noisy. I'm sorry about that noise. I've got Blue Point hose pliers here. Pull them out. They're kind of a pain to put in. Spark plug boot pullers. Had them things for years. And then just some your standard, you know, cheap pair of needle nose, couple vice grips, plain old pair of CT pliers here. I carry a pair this size smaller than this on my hip all the time. And a pair of cheap flush cuts from Harbor Freight. And Blue Point exhaust hanger pliers. One of them things that you don't need it very often, but when you do, it's great to have it. And I've got the set of Snap-on terminal release tools. That was actually my first purchase off the Snap-on truck when he started coming around here. And then over here I've got some DeWalt drill bits, set of cheap easy outs from the parts store. That was a bad day when I had to buy them. Ford 351 water pump, snapped a bolt off in the block trying to get it out of the where it goes through the timing cover. Yeah, any of y'all ever worked on them, you know what I'm talking about. Just a little cheap gear puller I had to pick up the other day for a project I was doing. An old piston ring installer that, no telling how old that is. That was my grandpa's. A couple different tubing benders, big pair of channel locks, some tape, gloves. I'm going to pause this for a second. We're going to deal with this heater. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back here. heater kicked on right in the middle of this. I forgot it was even on. We usually turn it way down on the weekends. But anyway, I think we left off with those. Like I was saying, that was my first purchase off the Snap-on truck. Bought the Snap-on test light. It's got the digital readout for voltage. Pretty nice light. A little expensive, but pretty nice light. And I've got my battery terminal crimper. I make a lot of my own battery cables for my old antique tractors and stuff. This works real good for that. Don't use it much around here, but we do once in a while. We install some cake feeders and bale beds and stuff for farmers around here. We use it some on that. Got the complete power probe kit here. Open it up one-handed. Got the power probe down the bottom, and then it's got the short finder up in the top. Pretty handy kit, and I use it some. Not as much as I thought I would. I use the power probe out of it quite a bit. And down here I've got Snap-on multimeter. Doesn't have the Bluetooth on it. The kid I work with, he bought the Bluetooth one the same day. I didn't really think I needed that. Anyway, that pretty well covers that drawer. I guess we'll go over here first. This box, it's got the power drawer in it. I've got a couple Milwaukee batteries and chargers in there. Got the drill that came with my impact kit. And I've got, this one was an oops. I've got the Milwaukee 12 volt stuff at home. I've got the impact driver and a couple other things. I told my wife I wanted a 12 volt drill, like that one, but in 12 volt. She was working up here at the hardware store at the time, and we got pretty good deals on stuff. So she ordered this for me, but she ordered the wrong one. She ordered the little 1/4 inch screwdriver instead. But she was going to send it back, get the right one. I said, no, I'll go ahead and take it. I use it every day. This thing is so handy for, when we do oil changes and stuff, to unscrew all the screws out of the air breathers, take the air filters out, blow them out, change them if they need it, whatever. And I've also, another thing it's handy for, I put the little socket adapter in here, and like Chevys, and I think some of the others have them too, but Chevys are the most common, has the plastic lug nut covers. These things work great. You can set them on a low torque setting and just zip them things back on. Pretty handy. I've got the M12 speaker. Don't use it much unless I'm here by myself, because guys I work with, they don't like my taste in music. Got my headlight. Had this thing for quite a while. Our secretary got it for me for Christmas, 3 or 4 years ago, from the Interstate Battery guy when he came through. And as you can tell, I like lights. I'm blind, okay? If you can't see, you can't work. So I buy these all the time, the little cheap dollar lights from Harbor Freight. I throw them in the pickup. I've got one in here. I think there's even one in that cart. I've got what is this one? The Little Larry? Yeah, the Little Larry. That's a pretty nice little light. And then I've got the Big Larry down here below it. And then I've got a Braun work light from Harbor Freight. It's magnetic, and it's also got a stand on it, so you can stand it up. There's another cheap flashlight from Walmart down there. That actually was in my camper, but I sold it, so I threw it in here when I cleaned it out. Here I've got the Snap-on rechargeable light. I use that dude all the time. In fact, you can tell the battery's about half low again in it, but it's rechargeable. I'll keep the charger cord for it right there. Next drawer down, just some miscellaneous stuff. I've got my bore scope in here. Little Porter cable die grinder from Tractor Supply. And Ingersoll air grinder. Paint remover disc on it right now. A cheap Goodyear cutoff tool from Walmart. I need to get the town and get some more blades for that. I'm out of them. I got my big DeWalt drill for big drilling jobs. All the tips for my heat gun are in there. My heat gun's actually out at the house right now. I had to do some stuff with it a couple days ago. And it's just cheap blowgun. I think I bought that at Walmart for like $5. There's another one down there from Harbor Freight. And then, just a cheap little Dremel tool from out at the local hardware store. This next drawer, some of you guys have these snap-on boxes, you know about it. It's what they call a speed drawer. It's handy, but I don't know. It seems to be a catch-all, but it does kind of help organize stuff. Back here in the back, I've got random air chuck and some emery cloth, Scotch-Brite pads, a couple stickers that came with things we've put on, a bunch of these roll-lock discs, little torch lighter I keep in here, all the attachments for the little Dremel tool. And here I've got my stud setting tool, some lug nuts I use with it. Not sure what that thing is, but it's in here. I found that in a car one day, one of the old junk cars when we impounded it, and then had it for so long it went to scrap. One of the wrecked ones, that was in there. This thing I rigged up I work on a lot of Maytag engines. That's just 3/4 inch pipe thread, which is what the spark plugs are on the Maytag 92s. And put a grease fitting in it. If you got one that's stuck, I pack the cylinder full of grease and push the piston out of it. I don't even know why that's over here. It should be at the house. And here I've got just a couple air chucks, a little bit that came with a door handle for a Chevy pickup to drill the plastic rivets out of it. Came with the handle. I threw it in there when it was over. I've got a magnet, the Blue Point inspection mirror, and I've got the layered hole saw for cutting NMO mount holes for antennas and cabs. We install a lot of cell phone boosters here, and so we use it for that. I've also, you really can't see it, but I've got a VHF 2-meter ham radio in my pickup. I actually bought that to drill the hole in my cab for that antenna. And here I've got all the spanner wrenches for all my grinders and everything. Wrenches for my die grinder. There's all my air hammer chisels and bits. They all live right there. And up here is just a little bit of everything. I've got cheap steering wheel puller, but it works. And a little tool for pulling the pivot pins out of the old GM tilt steering columns. And here I've got just cheap little panel clip remover. And a brake spoon. Windshield lace tool. Used to work in the glass business. Don't do much anymore, but still have it. Lock plate compressor for steering columns. Valve coil remover. Pry bar. No, literally, that's all that screwdriver gets used for, a pry bar. The tip's been broke off of it so many times. A couple of taps in here. They're, I don't remember what size they are now. 9/16 fine thread. I bought them for, I don't even remember why I bought them now. Some special deal I was doing. A little tool for releasing the springs hold down springs on drum brakes. And a couple of the exhaust manifold spreaders. Bought them for, I got an engine I rebuilt over here, put in my wife's pickup. Had to buy them, put the manifold back on. And over here we've got bearing race punch set. I believe that's, Mayhew. Had to burn it. Back in there. And just a cheap roll pin punch set from Amazon. A couple of files, various punches and chisels. Punch holder from Snap-on. If you're like me and hit your hand all the time, this saves your hand from being beat up by a hammer. Back down in there. And back here is just some more miscellaneous junk. Grease that comes with brake pads. I use this, so whenever we buy a set from the dealer, this always comes with it. I just throw them all in here. Gasket sealer that came with something we did one day. Packet of grease that came with my B&W hitch on my work truck. Electrical tape, spark checker, more Maytag 92 parts. Need to take that back to the house. A couple distributor wrenches, some spark plug feeler gauges, just a little bit of everything back there. I've got some brake parts lubricant. That's about empty. Miscellaneous nuts, bolts, random drill bit that needs to go back in the case. And yeah, just a little of everything. Part for my pickup. A few AAA batteries for my little flashlights. And here I've got a couple wrenches I cut off for various things. Pocket knife, paint pen, little tubes of Loctite that come with tie rod ends when you buy them. And down here I've got all the little adapters to go in my screw gun for sockets. Some commonly used screw bits. There's a T25 there. There's a key that goes to that cart, but those doors don't lock anymore. I disabled the locking mechanism because I'm going to put a solid top on there for that welder. But that's still in here. Oh, hood prop tool I bought off Snap-on truck the other day. Some more stickers. Anyway, that's that door. It just kind of becomes a catch-all most of the time. Oops, wrong one. Put that back there where it goes. And next drawer down, I have a thing for ratchets. Love ratchets. Here in the back, I've got, those are all Eastwood torque wrenches. Like this one's, yeah, this one's 3/8 drive, foot-pounds from like 10 to 75. That's a 3/8 inch-pounds. Goes from, goes from, let's see here, 50 up to 250 inch-pounds. And then that's a little 1/4 inch drive. Goes from 10 up to 100 inch-pounds. I've got the little 1/4 inch beam type torque wrench, goes up to 80 inch-pounds. Spray gun to go on top of rattle cans for painting. And I've got a little cheap 1/4 inch air ratchet from Harbor Freight. Got my nice Snap-on 3/8 drive air ratchet. Everybody else everybody wants to use cordless now. I still prefer my air. At least I know the battery's not going to go dead. I always have air when I need air. And this cheap caliper from Harbor Freight. Snap-on blowgun I bought on the truck the other day. The kid I work with, he bought one. I got to have one of them, so I bought one too. And a couple of Duralast breaker bars. Little 1/4 inch Craftsman breaker bar. 1/4 inch socket driver. Old ratchet I've had for years. Don't use it anymore. Kind of an antique, but it's kind of cool. Over here I've got the Pittsburgh indexable head ratchet. It's one of them things that I don't hardly use it, but there are times when it is handy to have. Except when it doesn't want to cooperate to lay back in the drawer. There we go. I've got the Pittsburgh swivel head ratchets, 1/2 inch, 3/8 and 1/4 inch drive. I've got my Icon 1/2 inch drive ratchet. I've got one of these this size ordered on the Snap-on truck. When it comes in, this one will get thrown in the pickup. Yeah, I know, the handle's broke. That was a bad day. Don't ask. This is probably my favorite ratchet. It's the Snap-on FLF 80A 3/8 drive flex head. Non-locking. I don't like locking flex heads. And this little guy, a little 1/4 inch drive, extra long Snap-on. And my bent handled Snap-on 3/8 drive with comfort grip. Most of my ratchets, I prefer the comfort grip on them, but he didn't have any of them, that one that day. So I got a Pittsburgh 1/2 inch drive breaker bar. Big Bertha, my big snap-on 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Funny story about that, like I said, I like the comfort grips. The kid that works out of that box right over there, he doesn't. He bought this on the truck, because that's all the guy had that day, and he wanted the one without comfort grip, so I ordered one. When it came in, I bought it and give it to him, and he gave me that one. So next drawer down, screwdrivers. I got my snap-on extra long cabinet screwdrivers over here. There's some cheap hex keys and Torx keys from Harbor Freight. A set of precision screwdrivers, somebody gave them to me. My granddad's old nut drivers. You guys remember them from the last video? They're in here. My impact driver. One pry bar. I'm not sure where the other pry bar is right at the moment. I think it's over yonder. A little Sonex bit ratchet. This thing is nice. I highly recommend this. Just a little, little ratchet. It's got all the bits with it, Torx, standard flat, tamper-proof Torx, Phillips, Posi-Drive, hex. I mean, yeah, got the little extension bar. I think it's handy for getting in tight places, getting screws out of from under dashes and stuff like that. Snap-on long reach pick set. The Icon screwdriver set from Harbor Freight. They're alright. They're not the best, but they're alright. A little cheap, one of them $1.99 pick sets from Harbor Freight. I break them things all the time, so they work for that. A little short mini snap-on screwdriver set. And a set of tamper-proof Torx keys for whatever reason. I bought them for a project one time. And here we got just standard hex keys, standard and metric both. And here I've got the Icon larger pick set with a scraper. A couple more that go with this set. Some Torx screwdrivers from Tractor Supply. And down here, that's a harmonic balancer puller, Eastwood power steering pulley puller and installer, telescoping bore gauges. You guys know what they are. Set of cheap mics. Yeah, I know they're not the best, but they work. A dial indicator. Yeah, this is, what is it? Oh, this is my other bit set for my impact driver. Bought this off Amazon. It's not a very good set, but they work. I think I broke one of them. I think the boss broke one the other day, so there's a couple missing out of it. That lives right there. I've got timing light over here. Don't use that much anymore here. I use it on my own stuff. And then stethoscope. Use that quite a bit. And the last drawer, mostly for suspension work. I've got a few other things in here. That's the master line stopper set from Lyle. Pretty handy little set. So you put that in there and you can clamp them the end of your lines when you take them loose, transmission cooler lines or whatever. They stop the fluid from running out of them. Got several plugs, and some of these I've added. They came with radiators when we bought them. Little plastic hose crimper pliers. And I've got my air brake service set here. I don't work on any air brakes, but I bought the whole set. I really only needed this one. It works on pitman arms for the, newer model Chevy 3/4 and 1 tons. That great big pitman arm. That's the only puller I've found that'll fit around it and pull them. And then I've got some hammers and C-clamp that I modified for compressing brake calipers. And there's some pickle forks down here, some different ball joint adapters that came with different ball joints over the years. That's the socket for the screw-in ball joints on the Dodge 45 5500s. Snap-on air hammer, love that thing. There's another cheap pitman arm puller back there. dust cup installer for ball joints. Got the bearing and race and seal driver here. Hose clamp pliers there. I'm not gonna get them out. You guys know what them are. Now this thing, I highly recommend for those screw-in brake calipers. This thing is amazing. Put that in there, get your adapter set up on it, get it loaded into your caliper. You squeeze the trigger, wherever the trigger is, there's the trigger. Squeeze the trigger, it puts air pressure on it. As you're putting air pressure on it, you twist the screw in, it makes life a breeze. There are better kits out there than this one. I think Snap-on sells one, Mac and Matco might sell one. I don't know. We don't have a Mac or a Matco truck around here. But this is one I bought off Amazon. It works great. So, anyway, that's pretty well through the whole box. And over in them boxes, well, underneath I've got a long pry bar and cheater pipe, random bullshit. Over here on the side, I've got my glove holder, paper towel holder. Down there, that top box is 3/4 inch drive socket set. It's normally on my pickup, but I don't know why it's in here. And down there below, it's a bunch of axle nuts. So, anyway, that's tour of the new box for the new year. Had this box, well, a little over a year. I think I bought it a year ago in November. But been meaning to get a toolbox tour out of it after I got it all set up. And just never had got around to it. Oh, change the calendar. Not December anymore. But anyway, that's the new box. So I'm gonna get out of here and get the old work truck out, park the wrecker back inside. Had a late night call last night. After we got back with it, I figured New Year's Eve there might be a few more, so I just went ahead, took the truck home, parked my pickup inside. I'm going to pull the wrecker back in, and we're going to take the pickup, go out the farm, and start on that project. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel to see more, we do some tool reviews and stuff. I'd like to do more than what I do, but life gets in the way. And I also do some tractor videos and projects around the farm. We go to tractor shows. I try to get some video footage of things going on around there. So anyway, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you want. Have a nice day and a great new year. See ya.